It's not what I was looking for, but it's better than being alone. I'm so lonely. I just need a companion anyway. It's not that bad. Are you settling for good enough? Relationship light can mean a whole bunch of different things. No effort, no time, no progress maybe, or maybe the cost of lost opportunity. You had the opportunity to do it well. You could have set it up for success and you chose not to. Now you're settling for somebody who doesn't make it a priority, or that it's just you doing it. If you don't have time to date, be honest. If they don't have time and you still say yes, that's on you. But if you're saying yes to it and you really mean no, it doesn't go well. If you're not willing to do the necessary work for a healthy relationship, be honest. Maybe the other person's okay with that. Look, some people date someone just to be dating. They're not really looking for a healthy relationship, or maybe they're looking for a hookup. Maybe they want a companion, friend with benefits, a friend and someone to kiss, cuddle, do stuff with. Hey, all that's cool. All that's acceptable. Just be honest with yourself and with the potential partner. So ask yourself, what's the work necessary? Do you mean the bare minimum? Or are you looking for good enough? Healthy? You're looking for mastery, looking for excellence. Just like in sports and music, the amount of effort you put in often predicts the progress you will make. Practice the right things well. And what happens then? Perfect practice, perfect results. Get in your reps for developing skills. Approach things with a healthy mindset. You tend to get better results. Learn and grow. The growth mindset. I learn from absolutely everyone around me and love learning. Sometimes it's painful. Another freaking growth experience. Why not try the concept of not just learning from pain? Learn from joy, bliss, ecstasy, fun, play. We all know about learning from podcasts, books, articles, retreats, learning skills, practicing the skills, mastering the skills, polishing to the point of excellence. Not everyone knows how to be a good partner, or even what constitutes a healthy relationship. The Masters of Relationship group by Gottman highlighted that. We've also found that people are overconfident in their ability to successfully wing it. I can wing it. In other areas of their life, they plan, prepare, they do work for the important things. Why not here? So how does it happen? Sometimes people offer you a relationship, and then they back away. Or maybe it was you. Did you fill in the blanks with what you wanted? You look at the relationship that's being offered from a distance, and you think, there's no way this has value. Do people actually think that they're offering something valuable, something that's similar to a relationship? There's no way this is going to work. Please consider the following examples and patterns. There's more, but these are just the basics. How do you balance the difference between feeling blown off and having unrealistically high expectations? What do these offerings have in common? The person has time for other non-essential things, but not for you. Or minimal time, leftovers, as in you can have my leftovers. Maybe it's let's play a game called Guess What You Did Wrong. Let's spend time together this week, but I'm going to do all my fun stuff alone, and we can meet after that. And by the way, when we get together, I'm going to be exhausted, and that still counts as time together, though. Or maybe you're texting and they only give one-word answers because, well, you'll never know. Or maybe I have a lot of free time. I got nothing on my agenda, but I can't meet with you for another few hours. It's the only time during the week that I have absolutely free, no real context given. Do you ask him for context? But I like you and would like to date you. Can you imagine what sort of mental gymnastics you have to go through to say that that was okay? What do you actually say when somebody offers you something that to you has little to no value, and quite frankly you feel offended by the offering? You might like the person, but they're not making you a good offer. I don't expect you to spend every moment with me. The amount of time that we spend isn't sufficient for what I'm looking for. It doesn't meet my expectations or my needs. Well, I either need to adjust expectations or the partner. Ask yourself the question, because patterns emerge early in the dating process. Many people said that they saw them and disregarded it. How many times can you be out of sync in the early stages, trying things out? How many times can you be out of sync before you say, it's not a good fit? You both really like different things, you're not in a rhythm. But a lot of people stay together despite that. Go in with your eyes open. If you don't want it, say so. It's more merciful that if you know now, to get out. Gottman talks about bids for connection. How many times can I ask the same question and not get an answer? What's going on? How many times can I try to talk to you before you blow me off and I realize you're just going to communicate like this? I get one-word answers before I realize that there's either a mismatch or a failure to accept the bids. Maybe the person doesn't respond in a timely manner. Talk about it. What is a timely manner? Are you looking for 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 24, 48 hours? What are we talking about? Let's dive deeper. Maybe it's that my bid isn't working. Or maybe there's room for improvement in how I ask for connection. Maybe they're too busy for this particular style of relationships. Maybe I am. Maybe we would have gotten along just fine had we met in another time, but the timing here just isn't good. What can I say other than I'm done here? I'm wondering what level of priority the relationship is, so I can either choose better or I can match the effort being put in and see if that works for me. I'm not sure I like how we're doing this. It doesn't feel right. Something's off. I don't want to be too far out of sync at this point, because I know what that does to a relationship and potential relationship. If we're this far out of sync this early on, it doesn't bode so well for the future. Let's talk it through. There does come a point when it starts feeling personal. It might not be about me, but it's about me because it's my life. I don't know how long I want to wait or how many times I want this thing to happen. It doesn't feel good. Someone told me that I was being unrealistic when I told them that I expect somebody to show up on time, to not blow me off, to expect someone to communicate. I thought 12 hours between texts was a lot. I keep hearing people talk about unrealistically high expectations. Let me remind you that research shows that accepting poor behavior is a predictor of a poor relationship. Is it a bad expectation or a bad offering, or are you just feeling sorry for yourself? Is it intermittent companionship or a full-on relationship? What's the amount of work that you should put into it, you or them? If I see you once a week for a couple hours, a lot of people are calling that a relationship. They're saying that that's dating. Okay, what are the expectations? In order to see you a couple hours a week, do we still have to do all the work of a real relationship? Or is there a discount on that part too? What happens when we have a problem that needs to be worked on in person and we only see each other once a week for a couple hours? Do we work it through on the phone or via text? Do we wait until we see each other and then spend our only time that week just on that? What about like sex or kissing? If I only see you a couple hours every week, does that mean monthly we'll have sex? Every other week? I want to get to know you. So how do we work with momentum? What happens if I have a bad mood day and it's the wrong day and then it's another week before we see each other again? Sometimes I think these situations develop because someone is trying to keep the other person at bay. They might say they want a full relationship instead of saying, hey, part of me is terrified of commitment. I've been hurt. I don't ever want to feel like that again. If I date part-time like this, I can tell people that I'm dating. I don't have to put in the work of a full-time relationship, and I don't have to be vulnerable. I haven't invested that much into it, so if it ends, it's not that big a deal. Sometimes it's just reality, though. The life situation is such they can't date more, and they really want to, but they just can't. They want a full-time relationship, but life happened. They feel discouraged and disappointed that they don't have the time. Please, I'm asking you, please, think it all the way through. Think it all the way through and communicate well. If you don't have the time to do something properly, what happens? A lot of people end up forcing things instead of letting them happen organically. We sometimes lie to ourselves and don't even know it. Let's minimize our own feelings, invalidate our feelings, and maybe even gaslight ourselves. Maybe she just doesn't have the time. Well, if I look at this particular case, she does have the time, but it's about priorities. We tend to do things that we value and not things that we don't value. She didn't have the time to get together with you. Well, yeah, But that exact week, she went and did other stuff with her friends. It's about priorities. And again, we tend to do the things that we value, and we don't do the things that we don't value. You might be saying that she didn't have the time to get together with you, or maybe that's what she's telling you. But that same week, she went out and did a whole bunch of stuff for recreation by herself, with her friends, and then has 2 hours for you. That's fine, you want it to be balanced, but she did have time. What are the choices? Which choices do you make, and are the trade-offs acceptable for you? Does that work for you? Look, I want her to be happy. I want her to spend time socially and have recreation, but she chose that instead of choosing to spend time with me. Let's balance that out. How do we get our needs met? Everybody makes choices. There's always a trade-off. Some people do try to have it all and try to cram everything in, but we have to look at the trade-offs. You can't spend the same time twice. What's the best use of my time? What's worth doing? How about volunteer work? So you don't have a lot of time, but you're going to go volunteer. Okay, well, that's a priority. I get it. It's okay. It's good to volunteer. Just let's not pretend you don't have time then. No, you're not a victim. You had choices. You chose what's important to you. That's what you did. That's fine. Let's just be honest with each other. You chose to spend time doing what you value, and that wasn't time with me. That's fine. Own it. You don't value time with me the same way you value time doing what you did. That's being honest. The person has a lot to offer. They just chose not to offer it to me. Let's go a little deeper into it. The empty nester has different options available than does the one with school-aged children or younger. Someone who has no children, retired, wealthy, we literally have different options than other people. Our menu of options looks different, depending on life circumstances. Imagine a retired person, adult kids who live independently. They have enough money. They start to date a younger person who has kids full-time in the house and money is tight. Can you see where there might be a little bit of a disconnect there? Before they meet the kids, how do they find time to spend together? Do they waive the 6-month guideline, no meeting the kids till you've dated 6 months? Imagine someone with a wide open schedule, most evenings or every evening. The weekends are free. They date someone who says, okay, this week I can see you Saturday at 6 o'clock. Or that person with a wide open schedule has the option of dating someone who can see them Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, most of the day Saturday and Sunday, with a sleep over in there at least once or twice. If you're looking for someone to do things with and hang out and really get to know one another, there's no comparison there. And now are you both growing? That question illustrates another way to measure a full relationship. Some people see each other a whole bunch, but don't see the point of relationships as helping each other heal and grow. If not, in my book at least, you're not in a full relationship. That's okay, if that's what you both agree to. The key is that you're establishing a social contract and you need to talk it through. How good is your courage to have those difficult talks? Do you have the skills to have those difficult talks? Do you know how to negotiate? And do you do that negotiation in good faith? In romantic relationships, there are some unwritten expectations that are better to discuss. I want to cuddle, she says. Hey, if you're in a romantic relationship, is there an expectation of physical affection and physical intimacy? Or what if you say you want to cuddle and then don't? You're somebody who doesn't like touch. I'm not even talking sex at this point, but cuddling, holding, kissing. She wants to connect, but then doesn't do it when there's time, and then time runs out. No talking about it, just nothing. And then she says, I'm so tired. This is all the fun things that I did this week. And now, when we're together, I realize I just don't have energy. How does that feel? It's something that's fairly common for me to hear in my office. I have all my fun with other people and you get my leftovers. They don't say it like that, but that's the message. I don't have energy for you, energy for this relationship. All right. Would you stay if someone kept giving you that message? It might not be what they're saying. So clarify, what did you hear? I heard you say, let me get this right. On the one hand, you'd like to do these things, I think with me, but I'm not sure. On the other hand, you're really independent, and you're doing these things without me. Then when we get together, you're tired because you spent so much time and energy on the things that you prioritized. Did I hear that correctly? That's a little passive, isn't it? I felt hurt when. That's more direct and using tact. What else might contribute to a feeling of a relationship light instead of a full relationship? Addiction. That can look like another person's in the relationship. There can be shady things. Maybe it's exhaustion, excuses, maybe a lack of emotional availability. It really does feel like they're cheating on you, not just with another person. They're getting needs met by themselves, often needs that belong within the relationship itself. Or they're saying or demonstrating they can't meet your needs, and it's due to addiction. The addiction itself is affecting the relationship and their ability to be fully present. You're wondering, why can't they be present? What else is going on? Are they seeing somebody else? That does happen too. Are they so busy that they truly don't have the time and energy? Do I want that? I don't really care why you don't have time for me. You don't have time for me regardless. I want time with you. I want closeness and connection. And you're either unable or unwilling to provide that. At this point, I don't really care whether it's unable or unwilling. I have so many unmet needs in this relationship. I need to go seek a person who's able and willing to meet my needs. Will this replay time after time? If it's a one-time deal, that's a different story. I'm really sorry I was busy. Hey, we didn't communicate for 48 hours, and we're newly dating and meeting one another. You didn't tell me why you were busy, what you were doing. You just didn't get back to me for 48 hours. Yeah, I was really busy. Or, I'm taking a class, and then we have a test. For the rest of the week, I'm going to be super busy. I would love to get together with you and spend time, but I just can't right now. I'm almost never this busy. I apologize. Thanks for understanding. Let's make it up next week. Let's set up some times now to meet next week so we have something to look forward to. Or, hey, I'm really confused. You're really busy. We have limited times that we can see each other. You chose to do a tour with strangers, people you don't even know, rather than get together with me. We could only see each other one of 2 nights this week because you chose that. And then it's going to be another week before I even see you again. I lost out to a tour with strangers. God, that didn't feel good. That didn't land well. 2 times a week is your bare minimum, and you chose one of those 2 times to go on a tour. That does not tell me that you value me or relationships in general. You don't think of us as a priority if you're doing that. It might be partially out of your control, but the repetition is what gets to me. Even if it's out of your control, the impact is painful. I feel like I'm a bother to you, a job, an obligation. Well, we can excuse it, minimize, or justify it. Might not be no one's fault, right? Might not be anyone's fault. Let me have my feelings about it. Don't invalidate how I feel. I get that people are busy, I do, and that's okay, but if they don't have time for it, let's have that conversation. If they do, but choose to spend the time elsewhere, that says something. Again, this person has a lot to offer. They're not offering it in this relationship. So when I feel hurt and confused by the choices and values, what can I say? I could vent, escalate the situation, what Sue Johnson would call protest polka. You don't even want to spend time with me. Given the option, and you did it this week to spend time with me, you chose to spend time doing something else. I already didn't feel like a priority, but that showed me how low a priority I am. This hurts. I hate this. Then you want to do something in our short time, and you want to watch TV or watch a show. You basically want to spend time together, not with me. God, you don't even want a real relationship, and you're not putting time or energy into this. Our communication during the week is one-word text answers. God, you're letting me know that you don't want to connect in person. You definitely don't want to connect when we're not together. This, whatever it is that you're offering to me, it has no value. I'm done here. We could do what Sue Johnson calls withdrawal waltz. I could withdraw and you pull away, I pull away, until we both saw that it was not valuable enough to continue. When I see you withdraw, I withdraw further, and we could do one-word answers, wait the 5 hours or more between texts, even though a few short weeks ago we texted repeatedly. We're not saying anything important in the texts, and we're not being vulnerable. Or I could say directly what I want and ask what the real offer is. I'm confused by what's happening here. I'm sending you texts with poetry and humor, and you don't even acknowledge those attempts to connect. You answer in really short replies, one-word replies. You walked me through a decision when I heard the message that you don't value spending time with me. Then, when deciding what we might do with our couple hours together, you offered watching something interesting, which would take up more than half of our time together. It feels like you're distancing. At least that's the story in my head. I hear that what's being offered to me is once a week with you, and you're legit fitting me in because you're so busy. On the one hand, that's kind of romantic that you're fitting me in, but I don't want to see you once a week. When we first met, you had more availability. I don't want you to give me what you have left. I don't want leftovers. I appreciate the situation. You're busy in a way that you have organized your life. You have your kids at home. You don't have a ton of time to date. You want to be sure that your life is really balanced. I can text with you, but not expect you to text back. Our texting won't have connection, but exchanging information because you're so busy. I wonder whether I could handle such an offer. So could you say that or do that type of relationship without resentment? It feels like I'm sacrificing a lot to date you. It feels like I won't get a lot for that sacrifice because you don't have it to give. And you want the elusive, balanced life. It sounds like you want it all. Perhaps this would have worked with someone else who didn't have free time or the desire for a full relationship, but I need to decline what it is that you're offering me. In conclusion, regardless of why they won't give you what you need, your needs aren't being met in relationship Lite. Most often, I hear the story of lack of time or kids at home. Might be travel for work, might be addiction, lots of work, different schedules, could be mental health. How do you decide whether to stay or go? If you need a book, there's a book called Too Good to Leave, Too Bad to Stay. It's helpful for deciding about long-term relationships. Might be overkill for early dating. Ask yourself, does this relationship serve me? Could it serve me?